Bob's Burgers is a great show, and part of what makes it great are its Halloween episodes. The Christmas and Thanksgiving specials might be more sentimental, but when it comes to Halloween, the Belchers have a knack for making things sweet, spooky, and fun. And one episode in particular really captures that spirit, and it does so while involving wolves, an alpaca, and Teddy dressed as a sexy nurse. Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. Like any noteworthy holiday, Halloween inspires all sorts of specials. They tend to be generic, mixing horror with kids, costumes, and candy, but they're still fun for the most part. And when it comes to Halloween, you don't need to overcomplicate it. A show like Bob's Burgers understands this. It approaches Halloween episodes clearly knowing what Halloween is all about. Kids pursuing free candy and adults embracing the spooky aesthetics. Everything about Halloween perfectly complements the personalities of the Belcher kids and their parents. Tina, Louise, and Jean love candy, they love getting things for free, and they love expressing themselves in wacky ways that confound every adult in their lives. Linda Belcher loves the theatrics. She never passes up an opportunity to stand out. As for Bob, he might not be the biggest fan of Halloween, but he generally supports anything that can help draw in new customers to his struggling business. Since the show began, Bob's Burgers has done multiple Halloween episodes. A few are forgettable, but most are good, especially when compared to other shows. And having followed this show since its inception, one Halloween episode in particular really stands out as my personal favorite. I'll even take it a step further. I'm ready to contend that episode 3 of season 8, The Wolf of Wharf Street, is one of the best Halloween-themed episodes of all time. It has all the essentials of a solid Halloween special. Tina, Louise, and Jean are all eager to go trick-or-treating. Linda is eager to go with them, wanting to prove that she's still a cool mom. And Bob is dealing with things he'd rather not deal with, specifically a broken leg. Throw in some hilariously inappropriate remarks from Jean, and you've got all the hallmarks of quality Bob's Burger style fun.
Yeah, let's turn some tricks.
Jean, don't say that.
But this episode finds a way to do so much more. Unlike past seasons, this one really leans into the horror, putting Linda, the kids, and Bob in scary predicaments that feel appropriate for Halloween. Never gets as dramatic as the Christmas episodes. It also doesn't go overboard like The Simpsons does every year with its non-canon Treehouse of Horror specials. It just dares to be the perfect blend of fun and spooky. The setup is ideal in that it's less than ideal for the kids. They have their costumes, and they want to go trick-or-treating. But both the weather and the Wonder Wolf aren't cooperating. A thick fog has fallen over the area. There's also news reports of a stray wolf on the loose. So there isn't much going on in the neighborhood. Nobody is giving out any candy. But the threat of a stray wolf is hardly enough to stop the Belcher kids. They want free candy, and they're going to get it, damn it. Linda is still happy to support them, although Tina, Jean, and Louise aren't as enthused. That really bothers Linda because she always strives to be the cool mom. She wants her kids to be excited to hang out with her. That sentiment is a big part of what makes her so endearing and lovable. But like plenty of other episodes, Linda lets that desire obscure her judgment. After having no luck trick-or-treating, she isn't ready for Halloween to end. So, in order to prove that she's a cool mom, she suggests they go look for the wolf that the news had reported earlier. It's dangerous and reckless, right up there with horny teenagers splitting up in a slasher movie. The kids are reluctant, but they do go along with it, if only to salvage this disappointing Halloween. While this is unfolding, an injured Bob hopped up on painkillers starts getting paranoid. Teddy has been tasked with watching him while Linda and the kids are out. But Bob thinks he's acting strangely, relatively speaking. Between reports of a stray wolf and watching werewolf movies on TV, he starts to suspect that Teddy might be a werewolf. Paranoid or not, there are some ominous signs. Teddy has bite marks on his arm that he refuses to explain. He also makes these strange animal-like sounds while using the bathroom. This being Halloween, and with Bob not being in a clear state of mind, he starts making connections. So, as he so often does, he opts to overreact. He handcuffs Teddy to the coffee table and runs off into the night. The fact that he has a broken leg and is very out of shape just makes that effort more hilarious. It also provides a nice balance to the general horror theme. The distinct tone that makes Bob's Burgers so special never falters. But this episode does take a chance at letting things get a little spookier. Linda's efforts to prove herself lead the kids into some real danger. Despite the unambiguous howls of a wolf, they venture into a park, shrouded in fog, on Halloween night. It's one of those classic don't go in there moments that we see in every horror movie. But they do it anyway. It's not the first time Linda's inability to think things through has backfired on her, but it's the first time it puts her and her kids in a legitimately scary situation. It's still not clear whether there actually is a wolf on the loose, let alone a werewolf. So there's still some real tension here. It embraces the spirit of Halloween while perfectly blending it with the spirit of Bob's Burgers. And for a show that has such a comedic yet wholesome theme, that's quite an accomplishment. But before things get too serious, there are some fun twists. In their search for the wolf, Linda and the kids encounter their old friend Randy, the ambitious yet inept filmmaker. He's crossed paths with the Belchers before. At times, he's antagonistic towards them. But in this case, they're on the same page out of necessity. He also wants to find this mysterious wolf. He wants to capture it on film, hoping it'll make his career. Luis, Tina, and Jean, never one to pass up an opportunity, opt to help him. And when it looks like they finally found something in the bushes on a foggy night during Halloween, it really looks like this is it. This is the moment of the big reveal. Linda dares to be extra brave, offering to confront the wolf to protect her kids. In terms of proving she's still a cool mom, this definitely qualifies. Except when the creature emerges from the shadows, it's not a wolf, it's an alpaca. And in case you don't know much about animals, alpacas are nowhere near as dangerous as wolves. And it didn't come from nowhere either. Earlier in the episode, there was a reference to an escaped alpaca from a local petting zoo. So in that instant, it seems like all this fear surrounding the wolf was for nothing. Sure, it's still funny, but in terms of resolution, it feels a bit too clean. But then, we catch up with Bob, who is still running from Teddy, convinced that he's a werewolf. And Teddy, now having to carry a coffee table on his back, is trying to talk him down. He even follows Bob as he stumbles into the same park as Linda and the kids. This leads to the moment that I believe solidifies the Wolf of Wharf Street as this show's best Halloween episode. Because it turns out, there really was a wolf. Bob sees it, and it sees him. At first, it feels like it could just be Bob's mind playing tricks on him. He is still hopped up on painkillers. But then, Mr. Fishoto and his brother Felix show up. They confirm that this wolf is real. They also confirm that they're responsible for it getting loose. In the context of the show and of Halloween, it works so perfectly. Having a pet wolf sounds exactly like something that Mr. Fishoto would get caught up in. Having kept this news quiet on Halloween while he and Felix track it down, that's totally in character for them, on top of being genuinely funny. And fittingly enough, Bob is the only other one who sees the wolf. He's the only one who knows it's real. And when Linda, the kids, and Teddy catch up with him, they don't believe him. They still believe it was just an alpaca. And once Teddy reveals the true source of the bite marks, everything seems wrapped up and resolved. It really makes for an added layer of dramatic irony. The Wolf of Wharf Street was very real. There might not have been anything supernatural about it, but the fact that it was tied to one of Mr. Fishoto's many eccentricities, that still makes it scary in an odd sort of way. Only Bob knows the truth. Even if nobody believes him, we, the audience, see the bigger picture. It also helps make the episode uniquely satisfying, while also solidifying it as the best Halloween episode of this series to date. Now, there will likely be more Bob's Burger Halloween episodes. This show has established a solid reputation for quality holiday-themed plots. But for now, The Wolf of Wharf Street is the standard by which I measure all other Halloween episodes, and I don't see it being topped anytime soon. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, take care and stay safe.